Today on the show, we have Roni, a 30-something pharmacist. She danced in her youth and returned from a very long break just about a year ago. We talk about ballet as a mental escape, a way to find structure, and how we overcome fear and obstacles. Enjoy! I think our last conversation got into like the history of Japanese language and Swedish and how that relates to like a plie. So yeah, clearly staying on topic. How long have you been with the studio now? Did we decide it was 1 year in February?
Yeah, I think February 8th was 2019 was my first class with Jess and Allie and Abby.
And Abby, she was in class tonight. Allie was in class the other day. She's in class from South Korea. Did you know that?
Oh no.
She signed up. She came to Chrissy's morning class. Maybe she'll be in the weekend morning class because probably that's like South Korea time. Better.
Right? That's what I was saying.
Yeah. I know. It's sort of like a reunion every time we're on Zoom. It's kind of fun.
That's awesome.
It's like, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Got to see Caitlin for the first time tonight, so that was awesome.
Oh yeah, she's been to a couple, but not too many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you gotta lure her with point.
Absolutely, yeah. Caitlin's not
hard. No. That's right. So why did you start? I guess you danced as a kid and then you came back to ballet. So why did you come back to ballet? What prompted that move back to ballet?
You know, I think back and I try to remember and I have no idea.
That's how I am too. I have no idea.
It just happened one day. And I, for the entirety of my life, I've not had a hobby that really stuck. Like dancing was something my parents made me do. And then I didn't see a path to point when I was in 8th grade. So not having the agency as a 15-year-old, I quit instead of doing anything else. So I quit. But it's funny because back when I was dancing as a kid, I would do a lot of pirouettes in the kitchen, as one does. And that fell off, obviously, as my life progressed. And then just randomly, like last January, I just started doing pirouettes in the kitchen again. So, and then did about an hour's worth of internet research and found Broche. And almost didn't make the interview or the preview lesson. I don't think I was physically shaking, but I almost didn't make it in. So.
You were scared?
Yeah, just from I remember buying my ballet shoes so that I would have to go. So I couldn't cancel.
It's really scary, honestly, coming back to the preview lesson. Like I've learned how to do the preview lessons to account for that emotional response that people have when they come in, because it's so intense when you're like walking back in this ballet shoe and there's this like giant full-length mirror staring at you and you're like, holy crap, what is happening?
Yeah. I think you might have had a private or something before, and I walked past the window and I think you looked up because you're really good at noticing like who's out in the hallway, and I was like, just
look at me. Oh man, that death stare, it comes right out at you. Yeah. My famous death stare.
And so I just was like, because I was looking at the watch because, I was early and I didn't see me looking at you guys.
Play cool.
Exactly. The coolest.
That's funny. So you don't know why you started this whole thing, but why did this hobby stick? What's so special or torturous about this that makes you keep wanting to come back every day?
So it's funny because it's the only thing that comes to mind. In the recent past, I've had a lot of stuff on my mind, work, personal life stuff, and it really is just an escape. And, I've tried the mindfulness stuff, I've tried the yoga, I've tried a bunch of other stuff. And the only thing that really just clears everything out is ballet. And it's probably because there's so freaking much to think about, but there's just no room for anything else.
You run now. Does that give you the same feeling, or is running not quite the same?
Not even close. It's awful. I hate running every minute doing it. And for the most part in ballet, time flies, and it's the best kind of, I guess, time flying where you lose track of time. It's the best kind.
Right, and you feel good afterwards. It's not so much like getting lost in something that's very sedentary where you don't get the same endorphins afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel more motivated to do things. It's just it just plays into my life so well. Like, so, a lot of the times I go to evening ballet, so I don't get a lot done. But like on the weekends, like if I that's why I like doing like the early classes, because if I don't get up and get going to ballet, because I know I will always go to ballet, and if I don't, then I'll just not do anything. Like it'll be 4:00 before I get around to dressing,
Right, encourages those healthy habits.
Yeah. So
right.
I mean, it's really nice to have something that enjoyable and that impactful, I guess, like underpinning, honestly, like my whole week, my whole life, I guess, at this point.
How much do you dance a week?
Mm.
Like before this whole virus thing happened.
Before all this, when I had my crazy schedule, where I was off usually the weekends, and on Monday I would probably take, I think I averaged 10 or 12 classes a week. If I could stack them appropriately, like if I hit a good week, I could get like 12 in. And then right before all this happened, and I moved to my normal person schedule, still getting in one every weeknight except for Wednesday, with point on 2 of those, and then the weekends I could still stack. Saturday, 1, 2, 3 on Saturday, including point, and then on Sunday including point.
And almost at the end there was rehearsal surrounding the Saturday and the Sunday as well. So you would go Saturday class all day with me and then go to rehearsal. And then Sunday you would have rehearsal with me and then come to class with me for the rest of the day.
Yes, that happened.
That's hardcore. That's a lot of escaping.
Yeah.
That's good.
But, and the best part, I think, about ballet, and that's why it's stuck, I guess, is escape. But, like, now it's just a mountain to climb, and it's just something to get better at and forever. I'm never going to be a prima. Cool. And even as, I age, like, there will be new challenges as I age, to doing things well in ballet, but I don't think that there will ever be a point where I can't keep learning or keep improving in ballet. And so that's, I don't know, driving for me. I don't go to escape every hour that I'm there. Maybe I escape a little bit there, here and there. But I genuinely appreciate the art form now, and I just want to do it better. I'm not sure why, but I just, and it's lovely when you can step back and see the progress.
I think ballet is kind of a trap. None of us know why we're stuck in this trap, but yet we cannot stop.
Yeah, exactly. The most frustrating thing, you can't get out of it.
No, you can't get out of it, nor can you perfect it. So you're just stuck in this thing that you happen to love and be obsessed with, but that you can neither leave nor improve, nor like be perfect or done with.
Exactly. Just
right.
It is, I guess, modern day. Is it Atlas with the rock?
Pushing up the hill and back down, and it kept rolling back down. Yeah. Totally.
Your heel gets bigger every time it comes down. The rock comes down and your heel gets bigger and more complicated, and but prettier too. If the countryside gets better.
Right. Like the heavier weight you lift, the uglier your face gets. But the better you get at ballet, the prettier the whole thing is.
Exactly. So that's an overall win.
Oh man, that's too funny. But yet, I feel like it has not necessarily fixed how clumsy I am in my regular life.
No, not
Like,
even.
not even a little bit. Like, I trip over the dogs constantly. I trip over my feet, trip up and down stairs, drop things. Like, the coordination has not improved if it's not choreographed.
Absolutely, yeah. It takes a lot of iteration before I can actually get it correct.
That's right. The walking like part of life is too sporadic and unchoreographed. It's not successful always, even though we're very graceful in the studio.
I'm working on it, but if it was actually like a choreographed dance where I had to hold my keys for the entire dance, I would not do well at that dance.
Right.
Because I dropped my keys. I can't hold my hands.
Or if you had to remember which pocket you put it in by the end of the dance.
Oh God. So I have to go back very specifically, because if I don't put the keys on the key rack, it's going to be 20 minutes before I find the keys.
Right.
So it's, yeah, at some part of klutz, because if I put my keys down and I don't remember, and then I klutzily like hit them, and then they go under like the refrigerator or something, I'm just dead.
Like, forget it.
They better stay home that day.
I know, dancer problems. You know, people come into the studio wanting to be more graceful, and I'm like, yes, it will happen. However, let me tell you that some things will not get changed.
It's very pointed.
Yeah.
Actually.
So what is your, so speaking of clumsiness, actually not related at all to clumsiness, what is your biggest challenge that you're working on overcoming, whether it's in your mind, in your body? What's in the studio? What's like your biggest focus that you're trying to work on?
Most of my challenges are mental, surrounding frustration and not being able to get it perfect. And I struggled a lot with that earlier on, to the point I would get so frustrated that it wouldn't be fun. And considering I started utilizing this as a tool in my regular life, it doesn't, it was counterproductive for it to be so frustrating and not helpful in that way. And so, and it comes back every once in a while, periodically, it'll come back, and you have to kind of calm your mind and just work towards, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. And sometimes you're going to have a bunch of crap combos, and you have a bunch of crap sessions, and you might even have like a bunch of crap weeks, but you learn, like trying to convince yourself that you can learn even while you're having not perfect form, or you can learn from the crap too, I guess, and build on it. And it's frustrating, it's hard, and it's not fun to do, and it definitely, I guess, detracts from the pleasurable aspect of coming to ballet every day. But once you push through that, it gets easier the next time to keep doing it, and remind yourself where I was before and it got better, and look how much farther I can do now. I'm not doing it perfectly still, but doing it a lot better. I learned so much from this last time that I'm doing a lot better than I was before, and now I have a different challenge. So the frustration can really get to you, and I'm currently in that right now, especially at home. I don't have the right floor, I don't have the right setup, I don't have whatever, I don't have the direct interaction with you guys that I'm really used to, but really trying to sit with the idea that it's still worth it, and I can learn a lot from just showing up, and but you have to show up, and it's worthwhile.
Yeah, that's very intense. Why did you, I mean, it's frustrating. It can be super frustrating. Why did you initially not stop?
I don't know, because I should have. Because
Right.
if it tracked every other hobby I ever picked up and put down.
Yeah, and many do. Many stop at that first point when they're like, I can't get Gleason, I can't get pirouette, I can't get whatever. There's an incredible, incredible urge to stop. And as dancers, as teachers, as studios, how do you overcome that? What is it?
Yeah, and I'm trying to put myself back there, and it might have been the people. And my first classes were with Jess, and
Mm-hmm. And Abby, right? You were saying
it was with Abby. She was there, and then I think she started going to your class.
she did, yeah.
Actually exactly where I live now. But like little freshman was in my class too. And so for a while there, for a few months, it was me and Laura and Jess, like consistently. And so it very quickly became a support system for me that I didn't have as I struggled through some of the stuff in my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having that connection plus having just being with those people are so enjoyable, and dancing. It was challenging, but it wasn't too hard. Very quickly, Jess, and then later on you, and Chrissy and everybody else, because I eventually started going to everybody's class. But very quickly, because of the small group format, they picked up on what individually like my learning style, and I was able to catch on to things easier, because I think if you're frustrated and you're overwhelmed, it's just that's a really easy way to just be done. But if there's always something that somebody's doing well, and if you can pinpoint that and then extrapolate on that, I think that was where Jess had a lot of early success in teaching me, and it maybe that's what helped get me over that initial hump, so that I could keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's a super hard hump to get over. It's very intense, and it really brings up all your insecurities in your own life and in everything. You know, you're just like, I'm not good enough for this. I can't do it. I won't be able to do it. These thoughts all just become super, super intense, and the lack of being able to get it in the beginning is like proof to yourself that you can't do it or whatever. So it becomes very, very intense with those old feelings. It's people say it's just ballet, but I'm like, no, 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 it's not. It's like life. It's like your whole life comes back at you when you can't get the glissade figured out. It's like much more intense than just the one step. It's like all your feelings of inadequacy. It's all your it's like your whole life wrapped up in that one thing that you're trying to figure out. And so it's like, no wonder it's super hard to get through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. And I had a lot of that in the other parts of my life at the same time. And so
it's a lot.
So I maybe as tough as it is, maybe it was the one thing I had control over. I mean, I could practice the glissade. I can't do the glissade as nice as someone else, but I could practice it and I can improve on it. And it's frustrating as much of a microcosm as it is for your entire life. Like, it's something that you have control over and can improve on. Whereas other things may be more out of control, so it might help. Just I think for me it did. It helped me it grounded me, I guess.
It's one of those things where you kind of feel like you can't do something in your whole life, and then you see this one tiny thing that you did and you're like, oh, I did that. I wonder if I could do this. It's like this one tiny thing is just like can overturn that negative self-talk that just says like you can't do anything, and you're like, no, but I did that thing, one thing. I did that one thing, so there's proof that I can do anything, something.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you can do that one little thing, then what else can you do? And
Right.
if you bring those along, you get enough of those, and your entire perspective on dancing or the world or your job or your personal relationships, whatever. I mean, it can be very powerful.
It's very cool. It's much more than dance. It really is. It's building confidence. It's building so much more than just the ballet steps. Very fun. When you think about the future of your life with dance, what do you have some immediate goals that you're hoping for? Do you have some like long-term goals? Do you have like, I want to be blah 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 by the time X happens? Where's your like goals for yourself?
Okay, so somewhat jokingly, my goal coming into this, so my goal when I came back to ballet was to get on point. That happened in July. So that happened.
Check. Yeah. Yay.
So I had to advance my goal. And so I'm never gonna dance Swan Lake or whatever. So it's never gonna be like 36 fouettés on point.
Never say never. Never say never. And you only have to do 32. So not even that bad.
Well, I clearly need to up my bar because I've been saying to everybody who will listen to me, my goal is to do exactly one fouetté turn perfectly on point, on camera, and then I'm out. The end. I'm going out on top.
Retiring on top. We'll hang your leotard in the studio. It's over.
Exactly. Well, my sport.
Yeah. We'll like initial your name on the back. Embroider, I mean.
Yeah. Just hang up that jersey. Exactly. So that's my long-term goal. And I'm hoping that, honestly, I'm hoping that I can get there before it becomes not feasible for me to do fouetté turns on point anymore. But more immediately, my goal is to start to look like it's effortless, because the effort shows a lot right now. Because it is really hard. And so in the last showcase, when I watched my performance back, it didn't look the way that I wanted it to. And so I'm focused really a lot more on the port de bras and all the upper body things to make it look nicer for the showcase that we will have at some point in the future. I have a point piece with two partners, and they and it's just supposed to be floaty and stuff. So I don't think I was at a place before where I could like settle to concentrate on port de bras, because I was so concerned with getting the feet right and the turnout and everything. And so I think I'm finally at a place where I can concentrate on the softer skill of the port de bras, and it's easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's in fact perhaps just as hard, if not harder, than the legs. It's not as physically demanding because it doesn't require as big of muscles to hold as big of weights, but mentally it requires so much focus, especially that left arm. What is that thing even doing?
Like rest.
Like
the wrist is the star.
Yeah, the left arm is always just like, I don't know, dangling out there.
Yeah, like all the concentration, the pushing forward, but
yeah,
all the things, and you can only hold so much in your mind. So that's a lot of where the frustration comes right now. But sitting with it and working on it until it becomes one, like we talked about before, instead of like the check boxes, because I'm out of RAM. So I need to make it a static, solid state piece, how I hold myself, and then work from there.
Then when you get your one fouetté, then you got to make it look easy, and then you can drop the jersey. You got to put those two goals together once you get that one fouetté. Then it's not like,
I do believe I said perfectly.
Okay, but I didn't hear effortlessly, so just gonna put that in there.
Okay. I feel like perfect is not enough. So either way, there's like room for interpretation. So I'm never gonna do it perfectly. So I guess I have to do ballet till I'm dead.
Right. I mean, I think what I always say to new dancers is like, you're gonna get a double before you get a perfect single. So you're gonna get 32 fouettés before you get a perfect single.
Fantastic. Something to look forward to.
So I'm just throwing it out there as an option.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Oh man, too funny. Last question for you. If you had advice for past Roni, what would you tell past Roni pre-preview lesson, pre-coming back to ballet when she was like, I can't do it? Or, you know, if it's like right when she was super frustrated, what would you tell her at that moment in time when she wasn't sure if she was going to do it?
Oh, it's worth it. Like it, I wish I could talk to me years ago. I mean, years ago, it's really been, it sounds really weird, and very, I don't know, mushy. But it really has been life altering and in a very positive manner. So just, it's worth it. And the lessons that you learn and the benefits that come with it, they don't stop.
Well, thanks, Roni. It was so much fun to chat with you. Your ballet journey has been so fun to watch from my perspective as well. I mean, you just work super hard. And like you said, you just always show up, even if it was a terrible day, even if life sucks, even if you're not feeling it, even if you need 8 applesauces, you just always show up no matter what's happening in your life. And, you know, there's many of us make excuses for why we can't come, why we can't be there, but you always show up, even no matter what's going on. So I think that's a huge deal and has certainly contributed to your success thus far and your quick progress through things. So it's been super fun from my perspective as well to kind of watch you through this whole thing. It's very fun, very rewarding.
Thank you. And I mean, thank you for creating the space to do all of this. And I mean, it really is very different. You know, everybody talks about it because they'll have like PTSD from ballet when we were kids or whatever. But I mean, to have access to like, I'm sure I could go to Colorado Ballet or I don't even know. I just stopped looking after I found Broche. Like, I didn't have to go anywhere else. But to be able to access this level and have it be so community driven. Like, you guys are my community now, and I know you and I have talked about that before. But it's so much more than just dancing. And so thank you for creating the community, and thank you for letting me be part of it.
It's awesome. It's really nothing I imagined it being. I mean, to me, in the beginning, it was just dance. And then it was like, oh no, this is much bigger. This is a bigger thing. This is cool. It's really grown bigger than I thought it would, which is awesome.
It's amazing. And I'm so glad that you're being able to modify as you need to for different situations, because I think there is a definite desire and need amongst the community to continue to stay connected. Because once we found Broche, like, we don't want to give it up.
Well, and this is how we all don't lose our minds. And in a time when you would lose your mind, otherwise, it's very difficult to then become detached from your community and your escape and your mental escape. I mean, it's not quite the same mental escape online, but it still at least gets you close, and you can see, you can kind of get in there a little bit.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, such great practice for showing up. So.
Oh, I know. Some days you're like, I can't, but you have to do it.
Just get there.
Just be there. It'll happen. By the end of pliés, you'll be fine. Yeah. That's all you got to do. All right, Roni, it was super fun. Very fun conversation.
Thanks, Julie.
That's all for this episode, dancers. Thanks for listening. For more adult ballet, follow me on Instagram at Julie the Ballerina, our studio at Broche Ballet, or check out our blog and YouTube channels for even more content. You can now also dance with us online. To have your story featured on our podcast, email us at hello@brocheballet.com. Today's show was produced by Jackie Dolman and the YouTube version by Shanoa Rangel. I'm Julie Gill, and this was Broche Banter. Happy dancing!